Helen Bresnahan from the Wastewater Voters.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, Paul, my question basically is, I noticed that you said that there's a mix of systems. You mentioned Title V, cluster satellite, and central. Now, is there a prior prescription for specifically those areas that would in effect be prescribed to those systems? And if so, where is the prescription?
I don't think there is a prescription necessarily. And as Dr. House went through it, we would look at, there's a series of things we look at: more natural, opening the culvert, parks or bridge, dredging, options to increase natural tidal flow, natural attenuation, revitalizing cranberry bogs. Then we get to the basic four categories of wastewater solutions. And I think if you wanted to make sort of general characterizations, a lot of the area in the mid-cape that's on the north would probably have to stay on Title V systems. And then you'd look at where those big centralized collection systems are, Falmouth, Barnstable, Chatham, Provincetown. And you'd probably look at the feasibility of expanding those systems to deal with some, that's probably going to be the most cost-effective way. Then you've got areas in Mashpee, for example, where Dr. House went through their sort of alternative approach based on sort of the cluster system setup that they have now and some of the unique challenges in the watershed. So the prescription is, in my opinion, we need a watershed management plan for the Cape. We need to manage this problem watershed by watershed. I think that's going to be the most effective way to remove nitrogen, and I think it's going to provide the lowest cost to any possible solution out there. And then whatever works in that watershed is what we should be looking at.
Okay, and then my final question is, now you had an excellent program here on the screen. Is there somewhere where the Cape Cod Commission keeps that information, the maps, and the
Yes, I would encourage everyone to go to the Cape Cod Commission website, capecodcommission.org. And you can find information about the watershed tours and all some of the presentations that are there. We also have a Facebook page that you can link to from that website. So this general presentation is there, and then the 5 individual watersheds that we've done, those presentations and maps are there too. So you can get very specific about where you live, what watershed you're in, and go through that demographic information.
I was looking for that demographic information, for example, unemployment. Yep. And the prices of homes and so on, as well as your overlays.
It's on the website. And if it's not there, call me.
Okay, thank you, Paul.
Next.
Hello, I'm Sandy Bay, I'm chairman of the East Ham Water Management Committee. In East Ham, we have municipal water, so we're dealing with wastewater and municipal water. I have a 3-part question. One is a financial one, and that is we need recalculations on our MVT report for Rock Harbor because of 2 things that have changed. And I understand that there is no money to do that. We're also waiting for the Nauset Marsh Town Code, the other shared history that we have to report. And I don't know whether money factors into that. So that's my financial question. I have a couple of pond questions. East Ham is like a mile and a half across, and between the bay and the ocean, it's all ponds. The Development Clean Water Act is concerned with ponds, and we wonder why so little emphasis has been paid to that issue. Our ponds are really good phosphorus. And also, Brian, the second part of that, you mentioned on one of your slides that ponds help nitrogen reduction, which is now, you mentioned restoring the ponds. Does that affect their ability to, okay, so you restore them with themselves? Thank you. Just a second.
Yeah, let me see if I try to catch this. Fun questions are at the end anyways. Rock Harbor, what you're talking about is that well-meaning people from the town of Orleans opened up Cedar Pond, thus turning a sort of a fresh brackish pond into part of the estuary. By that single move, they created an impaired estuary environment because of the structure of that. All ponds in that structure, if you open them up that way, they will become impaired. The question really that we have agreed, and actually we promoted, was to have a workshop in town where it means to lay that out, because the issue there is not anything to do with modeling. It's issue of what the citizens in that region, which would be your town and Orleans, how they want to manage Cedar Pond. One would say, well, geez, if it's fresh water, then you don't have to do all the storing associated with it. If it's salt water, and it was fresh water a year or two ago, so you have to put it back. Other people would say, no, we want it to be salt. But that's not a modeling, that's an ecological question that has a management side, and Dave, I'm sure, I'm going to be sitting there next to you at that meeting. And we're contributing all the technical experts have done all the work in that region together in one workshop. We've already got all the experts to agree to go, and just a question of scheduling up. I'm not sure you'll be hearing about that. As the NASA report, everything's about money because everybody has to eat. So, eat too much, I guess. Doesn't mean I get paid a lot. But NASA, we've been able to get the university to take money out of its account, even in these hard times where we're laying people off. And we're looking like we're going to get one of the pieces of funding, not from the towns, to finish NASA. And as soon as that funding is confirmed, I'm meeting about it this week already, and as soon as that's confirmed, we're pushing it out. And that's all that's holding it up. And the fun part of the ponds. I hate to say this. I mean, you did such a good job when you're talking. I'm going to give you a compliment. The ponds on the Cape 10 years ago were virtually unstudied. There were a few that were studied. A lot of them we didn't know how deep they are. We didn't know anything about them. So 10 years ago, a group of us at the university, the Coast Assistance Program, and the Commission got together with some partners, but mainly, trust me, the legwork was done. The Commission coordinated a project, and the university provided all the technical work and all of the analytical work. And we have surveyed now each summer almost 200 ponds on the Cape. We have pretty much in excess of almost 250 ponds. The only data that exists for them is from this program called the PALS program. That data is provided to the towns free of charge each year. And that is also another sort of service project that's run by the Commission and the university to try to promote the very thing you're talking about, which is pond stewardship. As a result of that, a number of ponds have undergone restoration. Schumann looks like it may finally be done after all these years, after this year, and a variety of others, and we stand ready to help, as you know, because we've written a variety of other technical reports on things like Quokka and your ponds and a variety of others, because we can't ignore the ponds, the freshwater ponds. Thank God that the restoration costs of restoring freshwater systems is orders of magnitude less than restoring an estuary. It's much simpler, it's more direct, science associated is much more direct and simple, and so the whole thing can be wrapped up usually for less than 1,000th in some cases, or certainly 100th of what it would take to do an estuary. So that's a good thing. So we haven't ignored them, but keep saying that we're ignoring them. Maybe somebody else will pay attention and we'll get some traction on this restoration.
Anybody else?
If I got it right, ECM wants to recalculate some loadings.
Well, ECM, in addition to the work that was done at Cedar Pond to change the salinity there, the storing a fourth of our creek that had been cultivated and choked, and now this winter that work will be done. So that will also, I think, require recalculation. So, it's just...
Does ECM walk down the CWMP formal process? So did you get funding to undertake that?
Town funding, we took town funding.
Well, the card was a call. I mean, we fund CWMPs. It's the state, well, federal state. And what you call is you.
Thank you.
Wonderful information, Sir. I'm Paula Bacon, and I've been with for a lot of years, and I'm just on a community in Dennis. And we have to make a decision Tuesday in Dennis about an area that is very challenged public fact all year stands to me that we did not have more input from the state, Mr. Lorenzo and his staff, who has already put the area under Mr. Raymond's in by 2014. This area needs to meet some standards that we have imposed. But we are making a decision on Tuesday in Dennis without this very important piece that we need to advise us on. When the rat line in the area is higher than some of the cottages along the shore of London Beach and Dennis Port, you go down to the rack line. Rack line, where the water level is higher than this the properties behind it. They are they stand around them to protect a little bit. But can you advise us as to what the Dennis Village should be doing with a situation where there is huge density in an area where they're just using old cesspools, and are there ways that you can, that this community can survive in a very threatened situation?
Well, I want to apologize. I don't know the neighborhood that well, but can you voting on a Tuesday?
Tuesday we're voting on rezoning the area.
Oh.
But why rezoning? It is so threatened that it may not exist.
You're projecting that it may not exist at some time in the future, correct?
Right. With global warming, when you have an area that will probably be flooded, can you figure out ways to save that kind of community?
I don't foresee inundated communities surviving support publicly. But I apologize. Again, take my card. We may have staff that are actually working on that specific area that would know more than I. It sounds like the coastal wetlands people, wetlands resources. BRP has drinking water, water supply, wastewater, and wetlands. And my expertise goes just where I have less expertise in the wetland resource areas. So we got some crackerjacking. It sounds like that's what you're trying to do more than nutrient flow and wastewater management.
Well, I'm trying to see that in 2014, what will the state be doing with a community that probably has a very difficult time to put in place a wastewater system?
Well, 2014, Howard might have more of a effect on that than I. 2014 means how many administrations? I don't know. I really need to know the specifics of how it works into the Dennis plan on that particular neighborhood. So,
sorry, maybe that's too specific.
Yeah.
The situation is that it represents the areas along the south coast that do have very high density and are a factor in contributing to nitrates.
Oh, I'm sure they are. But it sounds like the discussion is inappropriately located, perhaps, geographically, because of the velocity zone interface, rather than. It sounds like that's the essential question we're dealing with, and I didn't have to do it. Sorry.
Okay. I'm Susan Westy. I'm with the Board of Selectmen in Orleans. And this is an excellent program. I thank you very much for doing it. At the beginning of the program, it indicated that the cakes would be available. Certainly it's a cake that I feel that Orleans should have the ability to see.
Yes, and I'm sorry that I can't hear you when you told us where the tapes would be available.
I heard we have the tapes available. We have 3 tapes. We'll be sending them to the TV stations, and we will have one available for groups. You just need to call me. Do you want my telephone number? 508-255-3116.
I think if you contact the League of Women Voters, we'll get you one. Okay?
All right, fine. And I have a final question that I have. We had been told that we probably would have most where information by the end of December.
I don't know who told you that. What we're saying is that we're having problems with when I met with the Board of Selectmen, they said we're having problems because we didn't get, it wasn't matched out. And so we're doing the best that we can to fund it on our own for you at no cost. And we said that before. And, I mean, I know that you've been exceedingly helpful in promoting everything going along. And so I think that we're still committed to that. And as I said, we have lined up state student fee money, students pay, to pay for part of or means is non-support. And also, I think that we have identified another funding to get that done. Whether that means if it comes in, then it'll be sooner. If it comes in a little later, it'll be a little later. But what I also said was, could you please tell us what you're going to do with the report? Because we have a lot of towns that are having their CWMPs held up because there's only put out 12 or 16 meetings a year. So if you're going to use this in your planning process, then we'll increase its priority rating. If you're not going to use it in your planning process, then you're going to have to give your slot to people who are going to use it in the planning process. They may receive a response to that question. But I proceeded with the concept that, well, since you're so far along in your CWMP, and since you've been working with your wastewater engineer, that would mean that you're probably going to use it even. But that's an assumption on my part, so I'm acting as if that is true. If you know that that is not true, please do.
That is my understanding as well. It's sort of the final piece of the puzzle, and that's the reason we've been waiting to hear from you. Thank you.
My name is Beth Carney, and I'm on this taxpayer since 1983.
Hand louder, please. Speak in the mic.
Beth Carney, ordinance taxpayer since 1983. I'm proud of my choice in this position. I'm kind of on a sandy soft path. I'm currently protected by a regional satellite pump out called Tri-Town and Nantucket Marsh, where public safety, sanitation, and economic vitality demands are being successfully met. Next May, I'll vote on the Wright Pierce plan for Orleans, and that will change the daily discharge from under 45,000 gallons per day, shipments to the estuary to 1.5 million gallons per day, as proposed in Orleans. And I'll submit comments on the renewal of the discharge permit at Nantucket, which will come up in 2012. And I will continue to advocate for an intermunicipal agreement that reflects the services provided from Provincetown to Harwich to Yarmouth, because Tri-Town should fulfill its investment obligations for a minimum of 20 years, or 2017. And it went online in 1990 and was upgraded by Wright Pierce in 1997. 75% of the financing was federal. The remainder, 25%, was shared by DEQ County, legal law, student law, engineers there, LEA, and the three towns in the district, Orleans, Brewster, and Orleans, Brewster, and Easton. But since then, there have been no capital outlays by the investors. Now that they seem to have siphoned off some of the resources from the profits garnered by user fees at our town. So my question for this panel, sorry to take so long, could you disclose your personal and professional relationships as individuals and or government agencies with the privately held engineering and construction firm of Wright Pierce?
No problem. I don't have any relationship whatsoever with Wright Pierce. I've never had a grant from them. I've never worked with them. I've never worked with individuals. I haven't even gone out to dinner with any of their people. I haven't given talks to their company. Nothing, zero zip. I try to keep that from Paul.
The Cape Cod Commission has, on cost studies, worked with Mike Dickey, who's an engineer with Wright Pierce. So he has been a consultant for the Commission on cost studies, mainly to evaluate cost effectiveness of a regional approach to wastewater compared to the cost effectiveness of the individual municipalities dealing with those issues on a case-by-case basis.
I have no personal relationship with Ray Pierce, and to my knowledge, in my 6 years with the coalition has no professional relationship with Ray Pierce.
Ray Pierce is one of tens and possibly hundreds of water engineering and consulting firms that the department works with on a routine basis. Lately, it's been a lot of coordination with the work you're doing on Cape Cod. That's just part of what the department does.
Okay. Anything more? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
May I follow that up with a question for Ms. Peterson?
Question.
Ms. Peterson, do you have any connection with CLF Ventures or Teal Partners?
In Teal Partners, I believe that the principals of Teal Partners are members of the coalition, but that would have to be verified. And I'm sorry, CLF Ventures, no relationship with CLF Ventures.
Everybody's finished asking questions. They have something
Could you
to
come
say.
and use the microphone, please?
Yeah, I think all of you know, we have Bill Doherty on the county commissioner, and I wanted to thank the panel for coming. I want you to know that the county continues to have a great interest in the pursuit of this, and that all of the things that have been said, while some of us have heard this before, I look up this audience, many have not heard them. We're hoping that the paradigm will change from management to elimination, because we found that to be successful in recycling, we found that to be successful in approaching homelessness, and many other things. And I believe that the focus as we go forward could be on recognizing the responsibility that we all have for the contribution that we're making to the problem. And we could look at outcomes forever. The main thing is, how do we eliminate and reduce the contribution? And in doing that, the cost strategies that are involved with that will become apparent as we go on. The county is committed to a symposium approach to allow experts to all be in the same room as Dr. Howes has suggested. You need to have everybody in the same room at the same time in order to vet out a lot of these things. And hopefully the symposium that we've suggested, which appeared to have some support of the Town Council Association and Selectmen's Association meeting that we met on Friday, and we'll see that go forward. This is a step in the process of providing visibility to all of this, and I appreciate the fact that all of you have come here, and I hope those who watch this tape will get something very important out of it. So with that, thank you. The county is very appreciative of these efforts, and I want you to know that we're going to continue to try to make as much progress as possible so that we do indeed protect what we have and make wise choices for what we need.
Thank you. Anybody else? Well, this has been a wonderful session. Thank you all very much. It's really helped us move the conversation along, gave us a lot of information, and we are appreciative of your presence here. So thank you very much.